Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to the channel. This is RED Dissection and I'm breaking down Manchester United victory 4-2 against Sheffield United at Old Trafford. Looking at the match, it was a topsy-turvy match. United were never in total control of the match, though I'd say United dominated possession, especially in the first 30 minutes. United were totally on top. They had few opportunities, like for Garnacho, who missed a one-on-one with the keeper. Menu had a shot that was saved. The keeper were making exceptional save for the Ringham, and United were trying to open them up and prize them open, but they weren't finding real clear-cut opportunities apart from those couple of opportunities. And Sheffield United were comfortable with the back five. Then against the run of play, they took the lead. It was a mistake from Onana, completely avoidable, and United overcommitted. Bogle scored the opening goal, and it seemed like United heads would drop, but Harry Maguire gave a quick rebuttal of that before the half-time whistle. And both teams went into the half at parity. In the second half, Sheffield United took the lead again with Diaz. It was a good move, but United, Christian Eriksen and Menu were completely unaware of the danger in the box. There was no midfield cover even before that, but particularly on that occasion, I think Sheffield United, after the halftime whistle, they knew that United were there for the taking, and they started to move further ahead. They started to drive forward and get more of the ball, but it led to their downfall because they left few spaces in the midfield, especially Bruno Fernandes, to find room for his shots. The second goal was a penalty. It could have been given as a goal. Bruno despised the penalty, and then a stunner from Bruno Fernandes, having the room at the edge of the box, rather 10 to 12 yards away from the box, and his left foot rasping drive right in the top corner. A wonderful goal. To be honest, United weren't exactly opening them up or creating many opportunities, so that was a banger of a goal and something that came out of nowhere. In the second half, Ahmad came on early on, so that brought a modicum of control in our game, especially on that right flank. Diallo was coming inside, and the fourth goal came due to Diallo's wonderful ball to find Bruno Fernandes over the top. And then he squared the ball for Hojlund, who had been abysmal all through the night but got his tap in. Ethan Wheatley came on for Hojlund. Good debut, I thought. He looked aggressive in pressing, as well as his movement looked bright. And then Sofian Amrabat came on late to just clean up the mess and keep their chances at the minimum. And United weren't in real danger of conceding another goal after that, apart from one Onana save from the corner. Overall, I think United did play well considering, and I think against Sheffield United, that is the level they are playing at right now, and that is the kind of team they're competing with. Because if we go any higher in the table, United are completely outplayed and outmaneuvered. And even in this match, for a couple of spells, United were outplayed. But overall, I thought United had this under control. United have more than 70% of the ball, more than 20 shots. They also had 10 shots, 4 on target. I'd say after the halftime whistle for the 15 minutes, they were dangerous. In the first half, around the time they scored, they were dangerous. But apart from that, United controlled most of the match, and most of the opportunities came to United. And I think if Garnacho had taken those early opportunities, United could have eased into the match and not conceded that first goal. Because the longer the time goes on and United aren't able to finish their chances and get the lead, it plays on the mind of the players who are habitual capitulator, and they're prone to capitulation, and that's what they did. But the good thing was the Harry Maguire goal, and even for the second goal, United were pressing and continuously, trying to knock the door down. They got the goal through the penalty, which was a bit soft. Anyway, I think United deserved that equalizer. I thought the substitution of Ahmad was a difference. And also McTominay, because Christian Eriksen was physically dominated in midfield. On the second goal, he completely lost his player, and obviously he is not physically able to compete. So I think McTominay coming on, even though individually he didn't play that well, but him playing that deeper gave Bruno Fernandes the license that resulted in rest of the goals. So that was the move that changed the game. Going to play ratings, Onana again and Howler, Klanger. Apart from that, on the second goal he couldn't do much. He made one wonderful save from the corner late on. But I think this is happening consistently with Andre Onana. Literally every other shot on target gets the opposition the goal, and that's not good enough for Manchester United. Aaron Bissaka was playing in the right back position, his preferred position. I thought defensively he did all right. Attacking wise, he kept the ball, kept possession. He's not the most comfortable when it comes to possession of the ball and overlapping. Tried some combination with Ahmad. I thought with Ahmad, because Ahmad was drifting in quite a lot, showed signs of probably flourishing in the future, and I like to see Ahmad start on the weekend against Burnley. Casemiro, I thought he was strong in the tackle, really good on the ball as well. I thought it was a complete centre back performance for him. I think he's grew into the role more this time around. He played well even in the FA Cup semi-final, but I thought this was more accomplished. But I think his lack of pace, especially with Maguire, who himself is quite slow, I think teams are going to target that. And coming forward, even against Burnley, it could be a weakness that could be exploited by Burnley. So we'll have to wait and see. But on the night, I thought Casemiro did well. Harry Maguire was another candidate for man of the match. I thought his goal was really good, came at a really good time. Overall, I thought he dominated his opponent in the air, even on the ground. His ball work, his passing. And he was also marauding forward few times, like he did in the FA Cup semi-final. I think he's in a rich vein of form, and if his fitness remains, I think he'll continue to do well. The only thing that troubles me, and there is a danger with that, every time he steps foot on the pitch, is his lack of pace. And if he comes across a striker that's going to run behind and gets a one-on-one opportunity with him, I think it could be dangerous. And apart from that, if he's able to avoid that, then I think he can do well, and he's doing well. Diogo Dalot, I thought attacking wise was exceptional. Kept drifting into the midfield, has a wonderful range of passing. He's technically adept with dribbling and close control of the ball. Obviously, defensively, he was stretched a couple of times, even with their wingers who didn't attack too much. Yeah, the goal came from his side, and he was a bit laid back, though the majority of the blame has to go to Andre Onana. But I thought Low is susceptible defensively. But I think he should continue to play on the left hand side, because Aaron Wan-Bissaka is completely clueless on that side. So it's better, and there's more balance to our game if he plays on the in the left back position. Christian Eriksen, I thought he started off well, sprayed around few passes, long range passes, continuously switched the player effectively. But I think he ran out of steam even in the first half. And the moment they took the lead, I thought he went completely out of the match. They intentionally attacked his side of the field, and they kept on running behind his back. Obviously, he cannot compete physically at this level, and that is for everyone to see quite clearly, patently. When McTominay came in for him, even though McTominay isn't that great in that defensive midfielder's position, but at least he has physicality. He can exert that better than Christian Eriksen can. I like to see him start, even though he has limitations, because he's miles better than McTominay on the ball. Even though that wasn't a good performance against Burnley on the weekend at Old Trafford, I think he should play. Mano also had a few snapshots, few moments of brilliance, but I think his performances have dampened a bit, and he's not able to sustain his performance throughout the spell on the pitch, and he goes through spells where he's stretched defensively and attacking wise also he lacks sharpness. Maybe it's due to the game time that he's had recently, and he looks jaded. I think after the next match against Burnley, he could get some rest, intervening period between the matches. I think he needs that break, the rest urgently. Anthony also started well for the first 10 minutes. He was sharp, but he kept on losing his battles with their left back. He was so afraid and timid to take on his man. He never took on his man, never went on the outside. He resorted to the same complaints that we have of him. He comes back inside, goes for those Hollywood balls or Hollywood shots, and they never come off. It was disappointing to see after his bright spells against Chelsea and a couple of other matches. I think he's resorted back to his old ways and bad habits. And I think that was disappointing. I think he should definitely not start over Ahmad in the next match. Bruno Fernandes had a man of the match performance, especially in the second half. He was exceptional. Second goal was exceptional. Obviously, penalty is always almost a given with him and his accurate ways in penalty taking. I think that was a good penalty, really opportune. It was important for us to come back into the match. Then his rasping drive that went to the top corner on his left foot, weaker left. Even the fourth goal, his movement and his ball across to Rasmus Hojlund was intelligent. And I think over the last couple of weeks, he has improved. His form has picked up. We know his technical limitation. We know that in a well-strung, well-structured team, he doesn't belong. But United are not at that level, and given the scenario we are in, given the circumstances we are in, I think he's doing well, especially over the last couple of weeks. Garnacho had a couple of snapshots, couple of one-on-one opportunities. He looked jaded. Obviously, technically, he's not the most polished. He's not, soothing to look at in terms of his overall play. He looks jagged. He looks obtrusive in a lot of ways. In this match, he missed a couple of one-on-one opportunities. He couldn't shake off his right back and the right wing back, and he was completely neutralized. And I thought that was a bad game for Garnacho. Rasmus Hojlund got a goal after 5 or 6 matches, I think. But that was a terrible performance. Nothing good about that performance apart from the tap in. His movement was off. His first touch was off. His physicality was just not there. He was invisible, totally dominated by the centre backs. Even against Sheffield United, he didn't look like that he belonged there. He looked more like a championship player, to be honest. And their championship defenders were better than him. This goal doesn't take away from the fact that he had a terrible performance. Nothing came off for him. He had no input into the game apart from that the goal that he did get in the end. Ethan Wheatley did more on the pitch in his cameo than Hojlund did all through the match. That is a clear indictment of his performances. Coming to substitutions, Ahmad came in for Anthony. That was quite a quick substitution considering how Erik Ten Hag delays his substitutions normally. Ahmad should have started, but he eventually came on in the second half. He did well, had a couple of shots on his right foot which were off target, was involved in the build-up, gave some through passes, one particularly to Bruno Fernandes, which he could not take in his stride. I thought overall he did well physically. Also, he did well. He looked sharp. He looked bright, and I think he should definitely start on the weekend. McTominay came in for Eriksen. I thought he brought a level of physicality that Eriksen doesn't give us anymore because he was playing in that lone pivot role as number 6, and that gave freedom to Bruno Fernandes to maraud forward, get his goals, and be more involved in the advanced areas where he's more dangerous. Go fruit this time around. I thought even though individually he lacks so many qualities as a midfielder, especially in that deep lying role, but what he did offer was an opportunity for Bruno to go forward and affect the game in those advanced areas. Ethan Wheatley got his debut, came in for Rasmus Hojlund. I thought he looked bright. There was a yard of pace that Hojlund lacked. Even in his pressing, I thought he looked more intelligent. Bruno was continuously guiding him as well, and that was good to see. And he was taking on instructions quite intelligently, I thought. Never got any opportunity on the goal, but I thought his overall movement was good. And he looked confident even in his ball control and everything. So I like to see him more. Inshallah, if we are 2-3-0 up in the second half against Burnley, given more minutes. Even somebody like Amas, who has been on the bench for the last couple of matches, I like to see them be given more opportunities in the upcoming matches. Amrabat came in from Menu late in the match, did his job well, clean up the mess, got a few tackles in, few interceptions. He was pressing them and gave more balance to the midfield. I just don't understand why he doesn't start in that deep lying midfielder role. I don't think he's the most creative player, not the best in terms of forward passes, but in terms of getting the ball from the keeper and distributing it, sideways and laterally. I think he can do a great job, and especially playing as a screen in front of Casemiro and Harry Maguire, who themselves are not the quickest. I think it's a job made for him, and I think he should be given that opportunity against Burnley. Coming to the manager, I thought him not starting Ahmad was criminal. He should be sued for that and punished. And he kept on playing Anthony, even though we could see he was struggling against their left wing back. He made the substitution around 60 minutes, and that changed the game for us. Even Christian Eriksen, I thought Amrabat has to start, especially when Casemiro is playing in as a centre back. I think we need the security, the screen before him, and Amrabat has to play. And Christian Eriksen can play alongside him. And with Menu, he gave debut to Ethan Wheatley, which is good to see. We could have given him more time easily because we were 4-2 up anyway. I think on the weekend, if we get to a good start and are able to take a comfortable lead, I think he should give more opportunities to Ethan Wheatley and Harry Amas going forward. Even with this victory, we don't really learn anything from this match. It was a one-off. Even though we had control for majority of the match, I think we did lose it for a spell, and we conceded goals in those spells. And I think against Burnley, it'll be a tougher test. Even not looking beyond that point against Crystal Palace, Arsenal, Newcastle, and Brighton, and Manchester City in the FA Cup final. Those are completely different games. Sticking to the Burnley match and the Sheffield United match, important is to get confidence back, get those 3 points, and get some goals for the people who haven't been scoring. Garnacho, Rasmus, even Anthony if he plays, and Ahmad need to get their goals to get their confidence back. Hojlund got a goal. Bruno Fernandes has been scoring, so that's a positive. Against Burnley, there has to be changes, especially with Ahmad. He has to start. Inshallah, we can get some early goals in that match and settle into the match into a rhythm that we can build for the next upcoming match. I don't see Eric Ten Hag getting the sack before the summer, so it's important that the rest of the matches that are left, I think we have a game plan that we can execute and try to build up some consistency before the important games against Arsenal and also the FA Cup final. Just giving a brief preview before the Burnley match. We won't be doing a red prep show even for this match. There's too little a window to do that. So Burnley, they're 19th, one place above Sheffield United, but they are in a lot better position. I like to say Burnley defeated Sheffield United 4-1. They've only lost once in the last 7 matches. They won away at Sheffield United. They also drew against West Ham and Chelsea in this run of form that they've had. The only loss came against Everton away, which was a slender 1-0 loss. They have been consistent in the last 6 weeks. They're not conceding as many goals as they did before. I think that has helped them. Their form is quite similar to ours in the last 5 matches. And they'll be a tougher test than Sheffield United, definitely. They've got a lot more about them. Their style of play, they play with the ball, build from the back. Keeper Trafford is excellent with the ball at his feet. They'll test Casemiro and Harry Maguire a lot more than Sheffield United did. More intrusive, will go through the midfield, try to get at Casemiro and Harry Maguire, especially if you don't play somebody like Amrabat in midfield, to give them some kind of screen and cover and protection. Historically, their record at Old Trafford isn't great. They would be fearful, but the thing is, even against Sheffield United, even though we dominated the match, we did concede chances. We did concede spells of possession to them, and they capitalize on that. It's not like even if we are giving them an opportunity to have some say with the ball, that we can hunker down and stop them having pot shots at a goal and stop conceding, because we are conceding goals left, right, and center. We've got +1 goal difference after 33 games, and that's horrendous. I think Burnley would be confident. I think Burnley would go at us. I think Burnley, if they get an early goal, I think it'll be a lot more difficult for us to come back into the game. Certainly more than what we face against Sheffield United. Onus has to be on us to attack and finish off our chances early on, and then settle into the match and dictate the tempo of the game as per our own convenience and our own game plan. I think that'll be important for us. Inshallah, we can get a victory against Burnley on the weekend, and we'll be back with the Red Dissection episode with all the breakdown of the match. Please join us for that. Until then, take care, do good, pray for Palestinians and all the oppressed people all across the globe. Assalamu alaikum.